those violent criminals back to the places they came from or prosecute them.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifying before Senate lawmakers yesterday, defending U.S. operations in Venezuela, as well as the capture of Nicolas Maduro.
We made multiple attempts to get Maduro to leave voluntarily and to avoid all of this because we understood that he was an impediment to progress. You couldn't make a deal with this guy. Okay? This guy has made multiple deals. He's broken every one of them.
Former Navy Captain Brent Sadler with the Heritage Foundation says there's still a lot of work to be done.
This is for Venezuelans to change their own country. This is not nation building or regime change on American terms. It's the United States being the muscle behind to open up a space to allow democratic processes to come back and flourish once again in Venezuela.
The big winter storm exited out to sea on Monday, but its effects are still being felt in Mississippi and Tennessee, where ice and falling trees are giving disaster relief teams plenty to do.
As of Wednesday morning in Oxford, Mississippi, 80% of families still had no power, and as many as half of the homes in town had some type of tree damage, according to Steve Tiber of 8 Days of Hope.
With this power outage that, as of this morning, was still affecting 120,000 families in Mississippi, the need for food was great.
He says 8 Days ramped up its feeding ministry and started handing out meals.
We very quickly made thousands of meals, shipped them out, connected with some churches, some fire departments, and were able to bring food to those who didn't have the means to go get food themselves.
The national headquarters for 8 Days of Hope happens to be in nearby Tupelo, so the call went out for volunteers. Emma James showed up and was on the production line in no time.
I was the bean person. I was the butter person a little bit yesterday. You kind of just flow into whatever spot is open.
She was impressed with how organized and easy everything was.
This is my first experience with their mass feedings. It's very easy. If you can hold a spoon, you can serve.
Tiber says the Rapid Response Team is taking volunteers for this weekend.
Go online at 8dayshope.com, click on the link to volunteer. If you're 16 or older, we provide food and lodging. You can come for 1 day, 3 days, or for all 14 days.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
The FTC ramping up efforts to protect your kids online, promising new age verification. Teresa Payton, former White House Chief Information Officer, says kids are very smart.
I mean, yeah, for example, in sort of today's construct, they'll just make up a birth date. If you ask, show me a picture to show me that you're old enough, they can hold up their older brother or older sister's picture. So we know that age verification has to be something that is easy to do, hard to work around, and we certainly don't want to collect a lot of personal identifiable information that could be hacked. So it's a really tricky situation, and it's good that we spent an entire day talking about the safety of our children because our children are our future.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hello everyone, I'm Tom Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, the tours we've got planned in 2026 are going to be fantastic. They're historical, spiritual, heritage tours. For the information all about them, the DC, the Williamsburg, the Boston tours, go to wildmongroup.com, WILDMON group.com, and we hope to see you on one of our 2026 spiritual heritage tours.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome everybody to Today's Issues here on the American Family Radio Network. That's the name of this year's show, Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Today's Thursday, January the 29th, 2026, and we appreciate you listening to AFR. Joining me in studio is Fred Jackson. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning to you.
Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
That's it, people. That's just three of us here.
Thawing out.
Usually there's four. But and Alex McFarland, or Dr. Alex McFarland, will be with us at the bottom of the hour. So we look forward to visiting with Alex about various and sundry topics. But, yeah, it's Fred, Chris, and Tim on the program today. How you guys doing, Fred?
We're doing great. We live in Mississippi. Mississippi's in the news a lot this week because of that storm.
Yeah,
that's gone through. And depending on where you are in Mississippi, Like the effects of the storm here where we live in Tupelo, Mississippi, not bad at all.
In the town.
In the town of Mississippi, but you almost a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Some folks are still without power.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands of people still without power in this state.
Okay, J.J. Jasper lives about 25 minutes from Tupelo. And everybody knows J.J. from Trivia Friday and other some of the stations get his morning show. But he just told me, hey, I saw him in the hallway, and he said, hey, we just got power back.
Yeah.
So they've been without power for, 5-6 days.
Yeah, we go back to last Sunday.
And this is widespread. If you have power, you're thankful in this area. But this goes up to West Tennessee.
Yeah.
Central to Nashville. Goes as far as Nashville. So a lot of people got a lot of snow and sleet from the winter storm last weekend. But the freezing rain is absolute worst.
Yeah.
Because it just piles up on trees, especially. We live in pine tree country, huh? And so every pine needle becomes a weapon when you have this freezing rain that went on for hours and hours and hours. So anyway, 8 Days of Hope, as you just heard Steve Tiber, they're doing some great work in the Oxford area in Mississippi. But, yeah, there was a line of ice from, I think it started in Louisiana and Arkansas and came over to Mississippi, Tennessee, probably parts of North Alabama, I would suspect, too.
And then up in the northwest section towards Memphis.
Right.
Yesterday we talked about it, this ice fog that moved in and created a disaster.
What is an ice fog? What does it do? It freezes on impact?
It freezes on impact so bad that Interstate 22, which kind of connects Birmingham to Memphis,
right,
they had to shut down both lanes.
Okay, I heard it was a parking lot.
It was a parking lot. And then also I-55 coming up from the south into Memphis. One lane of that interstate was also shut down. So you had people in their cars, in their trucks. They couldn't move.
Yeah.
People had to get supplies to them, fuel, food, and all that sort of thing. So that's just another chapter of the disaster.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm hearing voices from the Great White North. And our brothers and sisters in Michigan, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, they're calling unto me saying, welcome to our world.
Stop your whining.
I've thought about that a lot. There's that meme of, I think it's from some movie. It's Ray Liotta and some other people where they're all
welcome to November through March.
Right, yeah. We
Anyway.
got 2 seasons here, winter and August 2nd.
Yeah. However, to soften the blow a little bit, they have the equipment to deal with a lot of this.
Yeah, and the attitude.
And the attitude. Hey, we live here. That's the way it is.
You know what? We were down in Destin during Christmas, after Christmas. Allison and I went down there because our 3 grown children and their spouses and all our 11 of our, I think we're at 11, I think, grandchildren. I haven't checked today, but I think we're at 11. We do all our Christmas stuff prior to Christmas so that they don't have to worry about us, and we don't have to worry about them.
Yeah. Right.
They just go do their other family stuff.
Sure.
And we do whatever we want to. We like it that way. There's nothing sentimental about Christmas Day to Allison and me. We just trekked off down to the beach.
There you
know
go.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we met some great folks who were the folks who were, they were an Iowa couple. There was a Michigan couple, and they were coming down for 3 months.
Absolutely.
They were going to rent a place down there for 3 months for Snowbird, and now they were retired. They could afford to do it, but you spend 30, 40, 50 winters. Well, you grew up in that, Fred, in the cold, the brutal cold weather. You deserve to have the last years of your life spent in warmth and sunshine, don't you?
I kind of smirk when I hear people saying, they watch pictures of the nice fluffy snowfall and it looks
kind of
so
romantic
nice.
in the pictures and movies, isn't it?
The smoke.
Get a Christmas card.
Smoke curling out of the chimney and all of that.
A Lifetime movie.
Yeah. How about 5 months? How about you have to shovel, every third day? How about you got to get the
Fred,
salt
I
out?
didn't mean to. You have to recall these childhood memories.
I know. You lit me up.
Yeah.
But just to your point about people traveling down here, I was at Wally World yesterday, Walmart.
Yeah.
And I got in my car, and there was a car across there, Manitoba tags, Manitoba, Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So this time of the year,
They're on their way.
you see hotels filled here, and you say, what's going on? Wisconsin, Minnesota.
They're flocking south. They're like the birds and the bees.
We understand.
Don't the bees migrate too?
I think so.
Some of the bees do, don't they?
I'm going to look
Some
it
of
up.
the bees, yeah.
See what Dr. Google says.
No, the hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds.
The hummingbirds migrate. They migrate from
Yeah,
the Great Lakes to Mexico.
that's right.
They go down to Cancun.
Those little critters.
Yeah. Honeybees generally do not migrate seasonally like birds or butterflies. Instead, they survive winter by forming a winter cluster inside their hive, shivering to maintain warmth while consuming stored honey.
That's the life of the bee, the honeybee. All right.
Learn something new. It's not even learning.
I do. The hummingbirds, they do migrate. Read about that. That's crazy to think about because they're tiny little birds. But I mean, you wouldn't think. But I think they just get up in the jet stream and go where it takes them.
Yeah. My wife keeps an eye on their migration because there are people out there that do that.
Yeah.
So in the spring, she's really into. We have hummingbird feeders and all that sort of thing.
I got you. Because they stop on their way.
They stop on their way.
Okay.
And we've had times when the back of our house, she has about 4 or 5 feeders. It looks like O'Hare Airport. They just descend in there. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, amen.
I saw a picture during the ice storm a few days ago. It looked real. It didn't appear to be AI generated, but it was a cardinal on somebody's birdhouse, like hanging from a tree limb, and the cardinal had like ice on it, like it had flown from somewhere.
Yeah.
And was covered in ice.
They never heard of de-icing like
Apparently
United
not.
Airlines?
Apparently not.
All right. We've got a lot to talk about today that matters a lot. And so when last we left you yesterday, we have been talking about what was happening in Minnesota with respect to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE. Is that the acronym?
ICE.
Okay. Anyway, ICE, they're responsible for enforcing, our immigration laws, and people who violate the immigration laws sometimes are, well, that's ICE's job to find them and deport them, and especially criminals. To keep them off the streets of our country. So that's ICE's job. But, they've been in several cities without any problems whatsoever, doing their job. But when they went to Minnesota, the people in Minnesota and maybe some outside agitators started physically confronting the ICE agents to protect the people that ICE was going to arrest.
Yeah.
Many of them bad folks, but these people got on the streets, and it went bad, really bad twice for 2 of them. We know what was the woman's name?
Renee Good.
Renee Good. She was shot and killed by an ICE agent when she, hit her accelerator and ran over the ICE agent. That's under investigation. And then what happened a few days ago with the gentleman, what was his name?
Alex Pretty, depending on the news outlet.
Well, we find out now that he wasn't so much of a gentleman. That he was shot by ICE agents and killed. That's under investigation still. But we do know a couple big stories coming out since yesterday. And you might ask, people might ask, and maybe this is obvious, why does all this matter? Well, all this matters in the big picture because we have laws. We have immigration laws in this country. We have a border like every country in the world. And we, the United States of America, have a right, the citizens do, to maintain law and order as it comes to immigration into our country. Well, again, I know I'm being elementary with some of you, but you might want to, why does Minnesota matter to me? I live in Mississippi or Oklahoma, or why do I care? Because Joe Biden, the former president, let millions and millions and millions of people into our country that we don't, he just let them pour in. And now Trump is responsible. President Trump and his administration, they got voted into office, and a big reason was stop this.
Yeah.
This is insane. And so President Trump shut down the border. It's been completely shut down.
Yes.
And now he's having to deal with having ICE try to deport people who came here illegally, and especially criminals.
Yes.
So that's where we are, and that's why it matters, because if you don't do that, then the Democrats are going to be allowed to get away with importing these people into the country, and they're going to be voting before long. They're going to be on census rolls, which means that, okay, this area gets more congressional seats, and the illegals are going to be people who are here illegally are going to be counted. Now, I don't mean to suggest whatsoever that people who are here illegally in our country are any less human or any less God's children than we are. Okay, you understand what I mean by that? I don't mean
sure.
born again. I mean they're creation. They are humans who have dignity and should be treated that way. So nobody's suggesting that these aren't humans.
Yeah.
Yes.
That and we don't care about them. And we have social services here that people give food and health care to people. We don't ask questions about their citizenship. But you can't allow this to go on, or you're not going to have a country.
Yeah.
And so that's what Trump and his administration was left with, the hard job of dealing with what Biden let happen.
Yes.
Okay, into our country. So here we are, and now the story now is Minnesota. As I said, ICE has been all over the country with no problems, except maybe a few in California. And now we have these people on the streets in Minnesota attacking ICE agents, provoking them. And this fellow who was shot and killed, now it turns out there's a video of him. We do want to get to Tom Homan, because that's a big story.
Yeah.
He has done yeoman's work in the last 24 to 48 hours for President Trump and de-escalating the situation and getting it under control. We do want to talk about this, but I do want to. There was a video released. By the BBC, right, Chris?
Yes, it was released.
What does this video show?
All right, it shows. So this came out yesterday, and news reports initially said that this man appears to be Alex Britti, attacking ICE officer vehicles or Border Patrol vehicles. He kicked one of them, broke a taillight, it appeared. He spat at them. He was shouting obscenities. He was being ugly to government law enforcement agencies. And upon further review, as this thing kind of started to snowball, eventually everybody and their brother...
We don't like snowball. Can you use another... We've already talked about this.
Information started to gather together.
Okay.
And everybody started working together on this, and it has since been confirmed by a number of people, including family members, that it is, in fact, Mr. Preddy.
What he did was, Fred, this Preddy, this was 11 days prior to his death.
Correct.
He was then out on the streets. These people were organized. And they were calling, they know where the ICE agents, a lot of them hotels are in. They harassed them there. They had a network of how to go and interfere with ICE.
Yes.
That was their goal and objective. And so this guy, when it first came out that he had died, there was a picture of him, on his bicycle, and he was a nurse at a veterans hospital. And not to take away from any of that, but I'm saying he was presented as just basically a peacenik type of guy. Well, as it turns out, he was a very violent and very angry person, at least in this video captured, where he kicked the car.
Yes.
Kicked
the back light out.
Back light out of the ICE agents. He was spitting on them. He was giving them twin birds. He was yelling obscenities at them.
Yes.
I mean, he was and he had a gun.
Yeah.
It showed he had a Glock.
Yes.
In his back pocket. Again, this was a video taken by, and the BBC ran it, and this was 11 days prior to him getting in the second confrontation with the ICE agent. So what I'm saying was, this guy was out looking for a fight. He was not a innocent bystander.
Similar to the Renee Good situation.
Yes. By the way, we have that video on our website.
Okay.
AFN.net.
So go to AFN.net and you can watch the video for yourself.
Yes.
And you can see, is that the one where it stops and shows him having the gun in his back? I don't know if it's holstered, but he's got a gun. He's got that Glock on his back pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, not his back pocket, but behind his.
Yeah.
What do you call it, Brent? Talk to us, Brent. What word am I looking for?
He had it in his waistband.
In his waistband. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
And this video shows very clearly he spits at the vehicle. The vehicle carrying ice begins to drive away, he kicks at it once and then comes again and kicks the back light out. And then he is breaking federal law.
Yes.
People have to be clear about this. If you attack an ICE agent or you attack a federal government vehicle, that is breaking a federal law.
Felony.
That is why the ICE agents, after he kicked that light out, that's why the federal agents got out and went after him to take him down, because he broke a federal law. So he's not a choir boy.
He also supposedly did not have an ID on him when he was taken to the ground by the ICE agents. This again where he lost his life. And we don't know what happened there yet, but we have been told that he didn't have an ID on him, and in order to be a lawful gun carrying citizen, which nobody's opposed to that. We're for the Second Amendment, but you're supposed to have an ID on you and your permit, right?
Yes.
On your person. So, anyway, that video has shed a whole different light on Mr. Preddy. Again, I'm sad that anybody loses their life, but he put himself in harm's way by intentionally going out and confronting the ICE agent.
And that's something that is largely missing from not only the media today, but just America in general.
Right.
We need to make personal accountability great again. These people put themselves in that situation, and we've been blaming the other people in the situation.
Also, you can't think of yourself if you're the ICE agents, okay? All they have of themselves, under normal conditions, they should say, call the Minneapolis Police Department, okay? The Minneapolis Police Department comes and says to Mr.
Preddy.
Yeah, I am so sorry. I can't keep, but I've seen it pronounced two different ways, and I don't want to mispronounce it if I can help it. What, Preddy?
Preddy.
Mr. Preddy and the others, listen, you're going to have to disperse. You're going to have to go. You can't, by the way, he could have been arrested for vandalizing a federal car. Had ICE wanted to actually put handcuffs on him and take him away, but you know what would have been said then? Then the video would have been, here are the ICE agents taking a guy away.
And here's where they live.
The reason the ICE agents have to, they didn't arrest him. That maybe if they would have, it would have saved his life, ironically. However, these ICE agents are left to defend for themselves. It's kind of like almost being in the wild, wild west, because they can't call the Minneapolis PD because the Minneapolis PD has been told by the mayor, you don't help ICE at all. So the ICE agents are out there with these crazy people trying to go through them to go do the job they were designated to do, and that is arrest and detain a bad guy. And they're having to fight with these people in the street. And the Minneapolis PD says, we can't help you, we can't assist you. So I don't know what ICE is supposed to do in that situation. Personally, I just don't think it's healthy or wise or smart to put the ICE agents in that predicament. And I think that's what's led to Tom Homan going to Minneapolis, right, Fred?
That is correct. And, Tom Homan, he is President Trump's border czar. For the most part, he has not been involved in the Minnesota operation.
Right.
This was under the control of Homeland Secretary and also
Kristi Noem,
Bovino.
And Bovino.
Yeah. All right. So those are the faces that you have seen up to now. And what happened last weekend was that President Trump said, okay, there are things that aren't going perfectly there with the operation in Minnesota. I'm going to send in an expert. Tom Homan is an expert. He has served under several presidents, including President Barack Obama, and was given credit for the hundreds of thousands of illegals that were deported during the President Obama years. Remember, been looking at some of the media reports. Oh, the media thought it was wonderful what Barack Obama was doing, deporting all of these illegals. What a change in tone of the media. So, yes, Tom Homan this morning, over the last 3 days since he arrived in Minneapolis, he has been meeting with the governor, Governor Walz. He's been meeting with the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, and he's also been meeting with the Attorney General, Ellison, there. And he's also been meeting with local sheriffs. And what has happened is, and Tom Homan had this news conference this morning.
Do we need to wait to play that? You want to take the break and then come back and play that?
It's about 14 seconds long.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Basically, what he says, they have agreed to a plan that the local authorities are going to start turning over the bad guys, the illegals, directly to ICE. This is going to be cut number 6, Tom Homan.
Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail. It's common sense. It's safer for the community, it's safer for the agent, and it's safer for the alien.
Now, what Tom Homan is saying there, we don't have to have a dozen people chasing down a guy in the streets or in the neighborhood. Let us know that you've got this illegal alien who has been put in jail because of charges. Let us know he is there, when he's going to be released. We can send a couple of ICE agents over to the jail, arrest this guy, and deport him. And if we do that, if you guys cooperate with us, then we can draw down the number of ICE agents we have in Minneapolis.
Okay. What did Tom Homan say that Walz and Frey, the mayor, said to him about this?
The indication that we got from the news conference of Tom Homan this morning, they have at least verbally agreed to do that.
Wow. That's great.
Yes,
because that would solve the problem.
Yes.
For the most part, and you could de-escalate, and it makes, as he said, make everything safer for everybody. Mm-hmm. However, I want to hear from Frey and Walz, because the far lefties out there, those people in the streets, and even Frey, he's a far lefty too. In the past, they've rejected the idea of even helping ICE at all.
Yeah.
So that what Homan is saying, hey, let us know you have the bad guys who are here illegally in the prison. We'll send 2 agents over, get him at the prison. Nobody's threatened.
That's right.
There's no harm to the community. Nobody's making a scene or anything. But I want to hear from Frey himself, because these people don't believe in borders.
No.
So I'll be surprised if he come out and publicly says we're going to participate with ICE. So we'll see. Maybe he will. But that would be smart on his part. But we'll see what happens here. We'll be back. Dr. Alex McFarland will join us too in a moment. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Paul had these words for us in his second letter to the Christians at Corinth. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Freedom. Millions are in search of it. They want what our Constitution guarantees them. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. And they're taking these rights of theirs, these freedoms, for they are tired of being enslaved by the society around them. Have we ever thought about this word freedom? Have we ever thought it through? Do we know what we mean by it? How does one give an explanation of freedom? Just what does it mean to be free? Our world is full of people now who have, they think, found the definition of the word. Tired of all the old restraints and restrictions, they're exercising their freedom. They fill the stands full of pornography and smut because they have the freedom of the press, a right guaranteed them by the Constitution. They're on the warpath to get any mention of a higher power out of our official society because the freedom of religion guarantees them this right. And the list could go on and on, people who are exercising their rights to get away from the old restraints and restrictions to gain freedom. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a lowly Nazarene told a story about people like these modern-day searchers for freedom. This Nazarene said there was a young man who came to his father, demanded his share of the estate while he was young enough to enjoy it. The father gave in to his wish, for the boy had the right to the money. Soon the young man had packed his bags and headed for another country. He was tired of all the old restraints and restrictions of his society. He was tired of people telling him that he couldn't do what he had the right to do. What he wanted was freedom. And as he walked down that dusty road away from the Father, he felt this freedom in his soul. He was free at last, free to do as he pleased. There was no longer anyone to cram any religious doctrine down his throat. Finally, he found what he had searched for all of his life, freedom. But the carpenter didn't end the story there, you remember. He said that before long the young man's money was gone, and with it went his freedom. He had to go to work to give up his freedom in order to survive. The best job he could get was feeding the pigs. Finally, amid all the filth, the young man came to his senses. He got up and went home to seek his father's permission to work as one of the hired hands on the family farm. He was willing to take the lowest place in his old slavery rather than the highest position in his new freedom. Well, what is freedom? Never make the mistake of thinking that freedom is a matter of rights. It isn't. It is a matter of right. And no man can become free until he has become a slave to something higher and greater than himself. Freedom? Somehow I have an idea that those who are crying out the loudest for the freedom to do as they please will one day come to themselves. For the more they get of what they want, the less they will want of what they get. Make us captives, Lord, and then we shall be free.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
In him we were also chosen, having been predestined according to the plan of him who works out everything in conformity with the purpose of his will. Ephesians 1:11.
American Family Radio. This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. Tim, Fred, and Chris. And joining us now is Dr. Alex McFarland from the great state of North Carolina, a host of Exploring the Word, co-host of Exploring the Word with Bert Harper each afternoon here on AFR. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, everybody.
So, Alex, we're talking about Minneapolis and what's happening there. Mm-hmm. And we're going to play from some more clips here from Tom Homan. You've been following the story, I guess?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Tell me what you think about it.
Well, I think that the Democrats are going to really leverage this to try to undermine everything Trump does from here on out. And let me say this. It is sad when people die. I mean, I on the one hand, we absolutely stand for upholding the rule of law, securing the borders, and the government, a just government, is to advocate for the rights of its citizens. And, on the big scheme of things, ICE is doing the right job. And, there was a time when the Democrats, including the Clintons, Obama, Schumer, Pelosi, were saying that illegals need to be deported. But at the same time, the Bible says in Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel 33, God takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked. And Tim, I have to say my heart grieves when I see people die that I'm pretty sure are not ready to meet God.
It's so unnecessary, too.
Yes, it is.
These people had no business. This wasn't their business. They were, they were putting themselves in a volatile, harmful situation, and it didn't even affect them, except they would say, well, the ICE is terrorizing the streets of our city. That's what they would say was their justification for this. We're about to play a clip. Set this up for us, Fred.
All right. As we've been reporting, pardon me, that President Trump last Sunday sent his border czar, Tom Homan, in to try to lower the temperature with regards to the constant confrontations we have seen over the last several weeks between ICE agents and very, very violent protesters who have been organized and sent in to stop this immigration enforcement operation. Well, this morning, for the first time since arriving in Minneapolis, Border Czar Tom Homan held a news conference to talk about his conversations that he's had with Governor Tim Walz, the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, and also the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. All of them, of course, are Democrats. All right, so this is what he had to say. He made some very strong points. He said he wasn't there to stop the immigration enforcement operation, and anybody who thought that he was going to go in, put up the white flag, and say we're going home needs to think again. So what you're going to hear is actually on our website, afn.net, but this is a portion of what Tom Homan had to say in this news conference this morning.
I've been on the ground less than 3 full days. I got in here Monday. President of the United States called me Monday morning and asked me to deploy here. Got here Monday evening, and I'm staying till the problem's gone. I've heard many people want to know why we're talking to people who they don't consider friends to administration. Bottom line is you can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions, and that's what we're going to do. And we've come a long way, and we got some good wins for the people of Minnesota, I think. Nothing's ever perfect. Anything can be improved on. And what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book. The mission is going to improve because of the changes we're making internally. We will conduct targeted enforcement operations. Targeted. What we've done for decades. When we hit the streets, we know exactly who we're looking for. Good idea where we may find them. But we're going to enforce immigration law. For the people that saying we're here to surrender our authority and the mission of enforcing immigration law, you are wrong. We're going to do targeted enforcement operations, and we're going to prioritize the public safety threats and national security threats. That is what we're here to do.
All right, a couple of interesting things there. So the operation going after violent illegal immigrants is going to continue. Notice what he said there. He says we're going to prioritize. And what people are reading from that is the targets in particular are going to be those who have broken laws since breaking into this country. All right? The violent illegal immigrants. They're going
or drug dealers, human traffickers,
all of
kinds
those
of people. Yeah,
those are the people that are going to have
targeted.
a priority.
That's why I said targeted.
Targeted. All right, that's what's going to happen. Now,
but I would argue that that's what they've been doing all along, if you believe them.
Yes, for the most part. In case folks didn't hear the beginning of the program, what Tom Homan was alluding to, he's had conversations with these political leaders. He's continuing to have conversations with local sheriffs. What the plan is to have this cooperation from these local officials who have violent illegal immigrants in their jails, who are already in custody. Let us know that they are there. We will come and we will arrest them and they will be deported, so that we don't have to, after you let them go, send 14 people after them in the streets of Minnesota. All right, so that is the plan. You heard Homan there say that he has agreement on that. Whether that is going to happen, and the doubt that we may have in our voice is, well, Is Mayor Fry of Minneapolis, who is far, far left, is he really going to do this? Is the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, going to go along with this? But you heard Tom Homan say in his discussions with all of these people, they have a plan in place to lower the temperature.
Alex?
Well, I thought Tom Homan's words were very measured and well-reasoned, and just his demeanor is very calming. But, here's the thing. Tim Walz, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Jacob Fry really encourage the lawlessness, and the sanctuary policies, they really enable the worst criminal, illegal alien offenders. And just for a little bit of perspective, in 23, and I know there have been much documentation of crimes and violence by illegals and really well-organized agitators, but in 2023, think about this, more than 73,000 illegals committed 290,000 crimes in America. And these include murder, killing people with, driving while impaired, drug trafficking, human trafficking, child rape. I mean, this is just even in Minnesota. So, the Democrats and left-wingers that are encouraging opposition to the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, I mean, they're destabilizing the country. And I'm sorry that, it might, in the news coverage, it appears that ICE is heavy-handed, but there's really no perfect way to begin to try to rein in the lawlessness.
No, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, these lefties, not that they believe in ICE at all. They believe they should be disbanded. They don't believe in borders. They don't believe in anybody's here illegally. They just think the world can come to America and we should accept everybody.
Right.
But so ICE agents, in the case in Minneapolis, especially, you're supposed to walk up to, knock on the door. Hey, excuse me, we're here from ICE. We're looking for.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're looking for so and so. We brought some, donuts, and if y'all could help us out, we'll wait out here.
Coffee and crawlers.
After he gets out of the shower and everything, if you could send him out here, that'd be great. That's what these people, if they expect them to arrest them at all, that's not the life of an ICE agent. Now, imagine having to go out and find somebody, where they are, and then being met by 100 protesters who are throwing stuff at you, calling you names, physically confronting you, kicking your cars, and that this fella here was carrying a gun.
Yeah.
He was carrying a gun, a loaded gun, which begs the question to me, not that, I can understand in a town like Minneapolis you carry a gun because there's so much violent crime in these, especially these blue big cities. But you're carrying a Glock, right? That's what that was, right?
Yes.
A weapon, a gun, a loaded gun, to a place where ICE agents are going to be, and then I don't know if this is true or not, but the story was I read where he was carrying extra ammo. So it just begs the question: why would you do that if you maybe didn't expect to have some kind of a shootout with the ICE agents?
Yes.
Is that crazy? Go ahead.
Well, I mentioned 2023, and part of the reason this is data from the Biden administration, right? 73,822 illegals with criminal histories, 290,178 charges and convictions. This includes, by illegals, 4,390 sexual assaults.
This is the Biden administration reporting this?
This is their data.
Okay.
Nearly 2,000 homicides. I forget, something like, vehicular homicide, over 2,000 child sex crimes. So, I mean, even the Biden White House in their last 2 years were documenting just the heinous, felonious activities of illegals. And, even Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said the first duty of a just government is to look after the welfare of the citizens.
Yeah.
And so, it's unfortunate that this is messy, but, the Trump White House and the DOJ and ICE, and I'm thankful for Tom Homan, who, by the way, let me just say, Tom Homan, wasn't he appointed originally under Obama?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
He got an award from President Obama for his work as border czar.
Yeah.
Border control over the border. All right, you're listening to the radio program Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening, Tim, Fred, Chris, and Alex. Alex is in the great state of North Carolina. We are here in Mississippi broadcasting today, where we do normally every day. On American Family Radio. Chris, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say this before we'll go to a Homan clip. I think in addition to the various things that we've thrown out here, it would be nice if the government could look into and prove and show to everybody that bad people are funding a lot of those that show up in large masses in places like Minneapolis. If government really is going to look after and take care of the welfare of citizens, it would be nice if we could prove that insert liberal's name here is funding these people that show up. It looks like from the TV coverage, nobody in Minneapolis works because they're all standing at a street corner picketing something and yelling obscenities and doing things that we have to be careful how we even talk about on the show. Yeah. That's just my own 2 cents. It would also be nice if news outlets would do their job and report things fairly and accurately. Part of the problem that we're in right now as a country, and this goes back decades, is because news outlets have been telling people what they want them to think actually went down. But somebody that wasn't having that today was Tom Homan, who gave a CNN journalist the business here. Clip 2.
Shimon Prokopez from CNN. Mr. Homan, how did we get here in terms of you had Greg Bovino, who was the face of this immigration operation, the mission, as you say, to having border patrol agents in the interior of this country stopping U.S. citizens, asking them for ID, creating this fear in places like Chicago and now here. And then finally, it took really the death of Alex Petty for us to get here. How did that happen? Who made the decisions to allow this kind of operation to proceed in this way and to create such fear?
Well, look, the Border Patrol, last 4 years under Joe Biden, we had an open border where 10, 12,000 people a day are coming across the border. Border Patrol got overwhelmed, which means we sent thousands of ICE agents down there to help deal with that humanitarian crisis and help secure the border. Now we have millions of people released in this nation, many unvetted. Now we got to find them.
The CNN report is amazing here. You guys, Trump administration, really blew it, and
how did we get here?
Yeah, how did we get
created such fear?
Tom Homan says Joe Biden. That's how we got here.
Yeah,
that's how Joe Biden allowed millions of people in here. All we're doing now is we're tasked now with going out and arresting the bad guys and sending them back home to Venezuela or wherever else they came from.
Yeah.
But CNN wanted to paint the picture that this disaster was the creation of the Trump administration.
CNN is part of the reason why people are fearful to get out of bed in the morning. And it's been that way for a long time. And they're not the only news outlet.
I know I am.
They've created a nation of scaredy cats.
Actually,
the people that go outside and yell at the sky, "Ha! Trump's in office!"
Because it's icing and snowing and cold.
I want to boycott a different
but
kind
I
of
understand
ice.
what you're saying. All right. So bottom line here is we give. I think, gentlemen, here that the script has flipped in the last 24 hours. I would have told you 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago, the Trump administration is in trouble politically and from a public relations standpoint, okay? I'm not saying I agree with the reasons for that. I'm just acknowledging a reality because even Republicans were openly criticizing the Trump administration. the governor of Oklahoma, the governor of Texas,
special interest groups,
the Latinos for Trump organization. He was President Trump was not he personally, but the administration was getting criticized for how things were going on the streets in Minneapolis. Okay, but now I think amazingly the script has flipped. The reason I say that is, and I think it was a very wise decision, whoever advised President Trump, or maybe he had the idea himself, I don't know, to get Tom Homan to go to Minneapolis and talk to the governor, the mayor, and the sheriffs there. And because Tom Homan is widely respected, even Governor Walz called him a professional. So to have him as the envoy here to, as you say, bring down the temperature. And then if, in fact, Tom Homan has brokered this deal, I would call it, to borrow from President Trump, if he has indeed brokered a deal where the ICE agents can go to the prisons or the jails and pick up these illegal criminals, the people who are here illegally who have committed crimes. That's what I'm talking. And the police have them in custody. If ICE could go then and meet them, that was safe. Just give them to the ICE agents from the prison or the jail, and nobody's at risk of any harm or damage. But I want to hear from. We still have it. I was looking for it on the internet. This is what Tom Homan said was worked out, which is, if it has been, that's wonderful. I mean, flipping the script. So that's one reason. But I want to hear from the mayor and the governor, because this is what the left's opposed to. They're opposed to the local police helping in any way ICE. Okay, that's the reason they call themselves sanctuary cities and states. So this is a very reasonable proposal by Homan, and he says we will draw down our agents in your city if you will just simply do what we're asking here. If the mayor and the governor refuse to help under that situation, I think that is seen by the general public as incredibly irresponsible, and you're just trying to be antagonist yourself here if you're not even going to cooperate in such a fashion that Tom Homan has recommended. The other thing that's flipped the script is this video of Preddy.
Yes.
Violently attacking the ICE agents there, their vehicle, kicking their light out, screaming at them, giving them double birds, giving them obscenities, spitting, trying to spit on them, and then carrying a gun. You can see it in his back pocket, waistband. He's carrying a gun in his waistband. You can see it clearly from the video. And this video was taken 11 days prior to his death.
Yes.
So he had been out on the streets looking for trouble, trying to confront ICE agents, and he put himself in a bad situation. We don't know what happened there with the gunshots that killed him yet. That investigation is ongoing. But he was armed. You know, every time something like this happens with the police, they're always quick to say an unarmed man. Well, this man was armed, and you just speculate, why were you armed like this to the hilt? I say to the hilt. I mean, he had 2 magazines.
Yes.
He was prepared to defend himself.
All right, you're listening to today's issues. Any more, Fred, on this topic we need to cover? We need to hear from?
Well, there was, during this news conference this morning, that he was asked about, okay, you say you're going to prioritize the really, really bad guys or illegal immigrants. And Homan made it very clear that if you're in the country illegally, and you may not have committed any crimes other than you entered the country illegally, that you are not off the hook. Cut number 5.
There is not going to be a focus on people who have no other crimes except for their status.
If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table. Let me say this. If the message we send is you can enter this country illegally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. You can have your due process, show up in court, not show up in court, get ordered removed, don't worry about it. Unless you commit a serious crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the world, you're never going to fix this problem. The most vulnerable people in the world will make that dangerous journey like they did under the Joe Biden administration. Over 4,000 aliens died making that journey.
Oh, what did he say? 4,000 what?
Died making the journey. He said Joe Biden told the world,
y'all come.
Just y'all come, and when you cross the border, when you come on in, you'll sign a little document saying you're going to show up in court 2 or 3 years from now, and we'll ship you to the city of your choice, Mr. Illegal. We'll, you want to go to New York? You want to go to Chicago? We'll put you up in a hotel.
That's really how it happened.
Yeah, and we'll feed you 3 meals a day. He says, so all of these people around the world said, that sounds like a good deal to me.
They ate better than taxpayers that have lived here for generations.
Alex, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
all right, well,
listening
we got
to
2 or 3 minutes that. Go ahead, go.
Well, you know what? Let me there's a term called astroturfing, which is really trying to hide the origin or the host organization getting crowds and agitators together. And I mean, it's well documented that some of the protesters and some of the people that are, morally indignant are really recruited to go protest. And astroturfing is the practice of trying to hide the source of the organization of crowds. I think time will tell. A lot of these people in Minnesota, they weren't just people that were acting on conviction. They were organized, funded agitators.
That's right. Organized, funded agitators, professional agitators. They may not have been. They had jobs. Some of them, as we know, but they were on the phones with each other. They have websites. They have social media. They scout out. I mean, it's a well-oiled machine in terms of how we're going to confront ICE agents today. All right, who's going to go to the hotel and harass them?
The left has learned how to monetize lawlessness.
Yeah.
Good point.
Even the organization called Rent-A-Crowd, I think is the name of them.
Crowds on Demand.
Yeah.
Crowds on. I didn't even know an organization like this existed.
Bob's R Us.
I mean, they're like, you pay us money and we'll provide you a crowd. I mean, it's really funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Even they said, we are not participating with these people in Minnesota. They're nuts. Okay, they're encouraging violence, and so we're not going to let them rent a crowd from us. Or we're not participating. Even did you guys know this organization existed?
Oh yeah,
Rent a crowd. What do? Do you sign up to say it's kind of like an Uber driver? I'm free today. I can go be a protester.
Yeah.
So, but you pay me $100, right? And I'll go protest whatever you want me to.
Yeah.
You can get a quote even. How big of a demonstration do you want? And they'll give you a price quote.
All right, Alex, take care, my friend. Thank you.
God bless.
All right, that's Alex McFarland. We'll be back in a minute.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
It's been proven again and again and again.
Bert Harper.
The verification of the dates, the verification of the genealogies, it puts spiritual iron in my spiritual blood to know that we can depend upon the Word of God.
Exploring the Word, weekday afternoons at 3 Central on American Family Radio. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Agitators continue to harass and impede federal law enforcement as they attempt to carry out their duties in Minneapolis. President Trump recently assigned Border Czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis to oversee the immigration operation. The Border Czar speaks with reporters in Minneapolis, praising his meetings with local leadership, adding that they did not agree on everything.
One thing we all agreed on was U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement is a legitimate law enforcement agency that has a duty to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and keep this community safe. This administration is absolutely focused on identifying removal aliens that pose a public safety threat and national security threats.
Fox News contributor Byron York says the Trump administration cannot back down from the most basic position.
Well, I think the administration's core demand is and is always going to be that local officials not be allowed to obstruct federal law enforcement. I think that's a position that the administration is going to hang tough with, because that is the one of the great reasons for the kind of chaos that you see in Minneapolis and in Minnesota that you don't see in other non-sanctuary jurisdictions where ICE is operating without a lot of this drama.
A conservative activist does not agree with the suggestion that President Trump is on the retreat in Minnesota. More from Chad Groening.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey continue to support illegal aliens, even those who have committed heinous crimes, and they appear to be winning the PR battle, accusing ICE agents of being the, quote, Gestapo. President Trump has responded by attempting a softer tone, making some observers believe he is caving to the radical Democrats' demands. Gary Bowers, chairman of the Campaign for Working Families.
I think it's humorous when the media starts saying, well, Trump's done it this time, he's overreached, he's on the retreat now, he's running for the tall grass. There's been about 20 times over his career where that's been the narrative.
But Bauer says there really isn't any retreat in Minneapolis.
This is a tactical moment. You've had two events that appear to be moving public opinion. And so you make tactical adjustments in order to regroup and figure out what the next step is.
Bauer believes that Walz, Frey, and the entire leftist apparatus are not looking for common ground, but are engaged in an insurrection against the United States, the goal of which is to cancel the result of the presidential election. I'm Chad Groening.
Meanwhile, Democrats are willing to hurt Americans financially to try and prove a point about their anti-Trump agenda. A partial government shutdown is inching closer as lawmakers face hurdles to reach a deal before the Friday deadline. Democrats are threatening another government shutdown if funding for DHS is not cut. But the problem is, DHS has already been funded. Fox News contributor Ben Shapiro says that means this is all just a big show for Democrats.
I mean, it seems like an optic move. Obviously, they're trying to demonstrate to their base that they are very resistant to ICE. The best way to do that, of course, is to hold up the business of government as per our usual arrangement. It is unclear to me what their demands are at this point. There was some talk earlier this week that Democrats were actually demanding that only judicial warrants be used in ICE apprehensions, which, of course, would mean basically the end of all ICE apprehensions, since the vast majority of ICE apprehensions happen with an administrative warrant, not a judicial warrant. And so it seems to me, again, that this is another performative move by Democrats in an attempt to undermine President Trump's immigration policy by connecting it with defunding the rest of the government, which is quite popular, is the actual funding of the government.
President Trump unveiling his new Trump accounts yesterday, detailing how they will benefit newborn Americans and secure their financial futures.
For the first time ever, we're going to give every newborn American child a financial stake in the future, head start at life, and a fair shot at the American dream. It's really an amazing thing because it gives young children that start out with really nothing, and it gives them, boy, it's more money than anybody could imagine. Decades from now, I believe the Trump accounts will be remembered as one of the most transformative policy innovations of all time.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, the tours we've got planned in 2026 are going to be fantastic. They're historical, spiritual, heritage tours. For the information all about them, the D.C., the Williamsburg, the Boston tours, go to wildmongroup.com, WILDMON group.com, and we hope to see you on one of our 2026 Spiritual Heritage Tours.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Fred, and now Steve Paisley-Jordahl joins us. Good morning, Brother Steve.
Hey, everybody.
I see, I'm watching TV here. I see where President Trump's holding a cabinet meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And evidently he's holding court, too, because all the cabinet officials are laughing
That's a typical cabinet meeting for President Trump. You never saw those when Joe Biden was in office.
Why not, Steve?
He had 2 or 3 of them. He just didn't meet with his cabinet. It certainly wasn't an open press thing at the time. So.
Oh no. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Huh? Anyway, so President Trump is holding a cabinet meeting. All the cabinet level officers are there today. I'm seeing Marco Rubio, Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, his stock is rising here.
Is it ever?
Some people are suggesting maybe he's a better candidate than Vice President J.D. Vance to be the next. But those guys are like best friends, so they're probably going to run together, don't you think, Fred?
What a team,
huh?
J.D. Vance
and Marco Rubio. Yeah,
Marco Rubio. It was before a Senate hearing yesterday, being asked by Democrats and Republicans about Venezuela, Iran, et cetera, et cetera. He's amazing. He is sitting there, and he's got the answers to those questions. And, of course, he was a senator, and a lot of these people he knows. But he did an excellent job yesterday of justifying what the Trump administration did with Venezuela and where we are with Iran right now. Just a very sharp guy. And he's funny, too.
Yeah.
Did you hear the story he told the other day about Trump when they're going overseas in Air Force One? Trump doesn't sleep.
Right. We all know that.
Yeah. he walks the hallways of Air Force One.
Right. Trump does.
Marco Rubio says, and Trump gets really upset if his people are trying to get some sleep. So Marco Rubio tells the story that Marco Rubio says, I'll find a chair somewhere and I'll put a blanket over my head so he can't tell who it is that's sleeping. This is a story told.
So Marco Rubio doesn't want Trump saying, hey, get up, get back to work.
Yeah, Secretary of State, you're not supposed to sleep.
I'm human. I have to have at least 6 hours of sleep. Trump maybe gets 3, and I think he sleeps in his suit and tie.
I think so,
What do you think, Fred?
Oh, my. I guess it's all that Diet Coke.
I don't know. The guy's a freak of nature.
He's one of one.
Physically, I'm talking about.
That's what RFK Jr. was asked about Trump and his health. He says, I'm paraphrasing here. This is RFK Jr. The man shouldn't be alive. The way he treats his body and the diet that he has.
Yeah.
Of course,
a lot of it's genetic. He's just.
I guess. Yeah.
It's just that's just the.
He also never drank. He's never
right.
abused his
No
body with
tobacco, no alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. No drugs, obviously.
So it's
except he takes aspirin. He takes a regular aspirin every day. By the way, that's probably not good for you.
Really?
Okay.
The baby aspirin.
No. He takes a whole one. He takes a regular adult size. That's what he said. I read where he said he does that. He wants the big one because he wants to keep his blood thin. He wants to. He said he doesn't want it, clogging up his.
Most cardiologists will say baby aspirin.
Yeah, baby aspirin's fine, but the other can damage your stomach.
Oh,
it can damage your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I read where he said. Trump was asked about that. And he said, "No, I take the regular aspirin, and some doctors tell me not to. That also leads to your skin, bruising easily.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because your blood vessels are.
That would explain that. But anyway, do we have the one where? I thought you were going to bring up the one where the funny audio of Marco Rubio appearing before the.
No, I don't think.
You know one where he says a nice try.
Oh yeah. No, we talked about that.
Set that up, Steve.
I don't know that I have it. Do we have it?
We have a cut of Marco Rubio from that hearing.
Brent's telling us whether you have it or not.
Steve, I think it's cut 20.
Cut 20. Oh, Tim Kaine. That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Cut 20. That's our inside radio lingo, people. That's the audio clip we want to call for to play. So set this up because this is hysterical.
All right. If I understand it correctly, and this was something that Chris brought in, so correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a hearing in the Senate, and Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, was sitting in front of the senators yesterday. And what were they talking about? They were talking about.
There were questions from the senators about going in and getting Maduro and what we're doing with Venezuela, what we're doing with Iran. And one of the senators who asked Marco Rubio a question was Democrat Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. All right?
Is this the exchange we're about to hear?
This is the exchange we're about to hear.
So Marco Rubio and then Secretary of State, and Tim Kaine, the Democrat senator from Virginia, and here's how it went.
We're not mad at Iceland. They haven't cost us any money. The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct?
Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles. We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
Nice try. Thanks. I thought he did well.
Marco Rubio just dunked on him.
Yes.
That senator,
Tim Kaine?
Tim Kaine thought he was going to score some points there by saying Trump confused Iceland and Greenland. And Marco Rubio just said, oh, yeah, we're all too familiar with presidents who can't figure out where they are, basically, is what he's saying.
Right.
We really want to play that game? Okay. He said, nice try, though. That was hilarious. Anyway, that kind of backfired.
It is an interesting, Iceland, Greenland, kind of oddly named because Iceland is one of the most beautiful islands geography-wise in the world. It has just gorgeous scenery and everything, and it's called Iceland. And Greenland is nothing but a sheet of ice. It's called Greenland. I've flown over Greenland before. And let me tell you, it's forever and ever. It reminded me of the Sahara Desert, flying over the Sahara Desert. It's just
so you wonder then, as JJ says, why would we park on the driveway and drive on the parkway?
That's what you got to do under that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
There is a new ad that's showing up in New York subways, and it's for a company called Nucleus IVF Plus. And this is what they say. They say this is a company that lets you pick your baby. They give you an electronic menu of up to 20 embryos that have been conceived. These are live people, humans, allowing the parents to view the sex of each baby, and they can choose the hair color, the eye color. They can predict the height and the IQ of the baby, and it lets a couple choose the perfect baby. What could possibly go wrong? Well, they have to discard all the unchosen embryos. But this is where we're going with technology now. This is IVF, and part of the problem with IVF, it's a company called Nucleus IVF Plus, and they're letting couples have designer children, basically.
Yeah,
like you do for dogs.
Yeah, but the human variety of them.
Yeah,
they're called designer babies, and there are parents that pay a lot of money for this service because they want the blue-eyed blonde or whatever the case may be, whatever characteristics that they want. They look at the IQ of the donors, the people who put the embryo together. But the crime in this, as Steve has pointed out, is that those other embryos that are not chosen are eventually destroyed. So we're killing human beings.
Yeah. There was the Southern Baptist last year, was it, at their annual meeting? I went to a whole symposium on IVF. It's not as cut and dry as a lot of people think. It's you're going in and for the couple who are having problems having children, they get to have some help in doing this. But what you're weeding out, a lot of people think that if you have, for example, there's no children that have any of these, some of these diseases like, what's the one where they're, the disease with the children?
Down syndrome?
Down syndrome. Down syndrome, okay, a Down syndrome child, if you talk to the parents of a Down syndrome child, some of the most happiest, most optimistic, they bring joy into a relationship. You never would necessarily, you wouldn't say I would choose it, but if you talk to the parent of a child with Down syndrome, they would not trade that child or that experience for anything because God puts those children with those parents on purpose, and it's a very redemptive relationship. Have a child with Down syndrome, if you talk to them,
they wouldn't wish that though.
You don't wish it on the child or the parents, but what I'm saying is when you completely take the possibility of that experience away, what you're taking something out of the world that's teaching us a lot about love and happiness. Again, this is IVF. It's a difficult topic, but it's a topic that I think a lot of theologians are starting to weigh in on and saying, be careful, because we're allowing ourselves to go with science where God did not want us to go.
All right, next story.
All right. There's a new song coming out of Minneapolis. I want to play you something by Bruce Springsteen. He wrote a song based on what's going on. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and this might show you why. Bruce Springsteen wrote this song. It's called "The Streets of Minneapolis," and let's listen to a little bit of Cut 18.
And there were bloody footprints where mercy should have stood, and 2 dead left to die on snow-filled streets, Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
That's Bruce Springsteen deciding he wants to do some social commentary on what's going on in Minneapolis. I never have really appreciated his music or his voice much. I'm not a big Bruce fan, but I thought I'd play a little bit of that.
So you really don't like his politics?
I don't like his politics or his music, frankly.
I don't like his politics. He's a superstar. I mean, now he's a superstar from yesteryear, but nonetheless, he had a very powerful voice in rock music for decades. But I think his influence has waned.
Yeah, and I
don't even. That sounds like a sad song.
It is, but I think the influence of Hollywood has really waned.
I agree.
It's going away. I think of these.
A lot of them left the country after Trump was elected. They decided to go somewhere else.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But the days I used to enjoy Johnny Carson. He was equally mocking of whatever party was in there at the time.
He made fun of Democrats and Republicans alike.
Yeah.
But he wasn't mean-spirited about it.
And people stayed up late to watch him because they needed that laughter at the end of the day. But now you've got late-night talk show hosts that want to, and they're all left.
Well, look at their ratings.
Yes.
They're in the toilet.
They are. They are. And people just aren't, they're not interested in what Lady Gaga says or whoever else.
Bruce Springsteen just threw this song together
He wrote it on Saturday. He said,
it ain't headed for the top of the chart.
He really got TDS bad. Really bad. Right up there with Barbra Streisand.
Another great, actually, Barbra Streisand had one of the most classic voices of all time. Great vocalist, terrible politician.
Next story, Chris.
All right.
We're not going to play that whole song, are we?
No, we're done with that. We're done with that.
Play Born in the USA, maybe.
A lot of people are wondering how squad member Ilhan Omar is doing financially. Well, it turns out that she and her husband, whose name is Tim Minette, invested in a winery in California.
Yeah.
The name is EST Crew LLC. And something odd happened. The winery started out, it was valued at $15,000, and all of a sudden, within a year, its valuation jumped to $5 million. So she had a stake in a $5 million winery. When someone pointed this out, something happened to the website. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, you can't find anything about the winery. Listen to Cut 16.
Another major asset she listed in her financial disclosure is this winery. What does a Somali know about wineryism? Okay, that was in 2023. That was worth, according to Ilhan Omar's own financial disclosure form, between $15,000 and $50,000. But on her financial affidavit from a year later, that same winery was listed at a value of between $1 and $5 million. Just real quick. Why does a Muslim own an alcohol company? I thought that wasn't a thing in Islam. Anyway, it gets weirder. Up until yesterday, Benny Johnson was able to find their supposed inventory bottles and all the things they had, their office location, and a bunch of other information on the business. But as of today, those sites are totally shut down, and any mention of their website has been wiped off the internet. I'm talking gone. The Wayback Machine, all these other crafty little archive sites, everything is gone. like deleted the root service. I called my computer buddy Jim. He couldn't even find it. It was some fancy AR jargon bot machine for recovery. I don't even know, he was explaining it to me. He couldn't even find it, which is weird that a company that boasted an award-winning wine, the quote double gold winner in 2022 San Fran Chronicle competition, with a corporate value of up to $5 million, would just vanish into thin air. They didn't sell it.
So the bottom line is, if you want to invest, you need to call Elon Omar. She's got it going on. She knows what's going to happen in the market.
The most interesting thing, though, is how she can disappear, how they can disappear. Do you know how hard it is to make something disappear? They say the internet is forever.
Yeah.
Not when you start looking into the finances of some of these.
You know where Omar got her? She trained under Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
Nancy Pelosi and her husband. You talk about hitting the jackpot over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think their net worth, because of their investments.
Yeah, they invested in those pharmaceutical companies that made that COVID medicine for us, you know.
Which the government paid for?
Yeah, just amazing. Just amazing.
All right, Steve.
All right.
You got a Bigfoot story over there, Steve? What do you got?
Actually,
What's
it was a
next?
Bigfoot story,
We're going through stories pretty quick.
We are, yeah. We better. I want to ask you about this one. Donald Trump is floating the name of a new Supreme Court justice that he would like to nominate. He says
He's floating it.
Ted Cruz might be the Supreme Court justice of the future if he had a choice. Let's listen to what he has to say about that. This is Cut 13.
Ted Cruz has one thing that I like. If I ever have problems, because it's hard to get people approved, he's a brilliant legal mind. He's a brilliant man. If I nominate him for the United States Supreme Court, I will get 100% of the vote. The Democrats will vote for him because they want to get him out, and the Republicans will vote for him because they want to get him out too. Where's Ted?
That's hilarious. Oh, you know what? The rumor is, you know, and that's what we deal with here is rumors, right, people?
Yes.
The political rumor is that Clarence Thomas might retire soon while President Trump is still in office.
Did the thing that the justice, who's the one that they wanted out when Biden was there?
Ginsburg.
Ginsburg.
Yeah. So Clarence Thomas, who is he and Samuel Alito are the best two Supreme Court justices that we have. And so as I said, the rumor is that Clarence Thomas might retire, so that then President Trump can appoint a replacement while he still has 53 votes in the United States Senate, Republican votes I'm talking about. And Ted Cruz, he just mentioned right there, would be a great choice to be a Supreme Court justice. And Ted Cruz might be willing to take that. He's served in the Senate a long time, and he's probably ready for a new challenge.
I was reading a report this morning where he's already responded.
Ted Cruz has? What did he say?
He doesn't want it.
What?
He doesn't want it.
It's a lifetime appointment.
Yeah, he said, no, I'm a political animal.
Well,
I want to stay in the political fray, and once you become a justice, you can't talk politics. So, no, I was trying to find where I read that this morning.
Well, can we give him some insider tips on stocks? Maybe that would help him change his mind on whether he could. Man, I would have liked for him to say, yeah, I'd be willing to take that, but he said no. Okay.
Anyway. Apparently.
He says I'm a political animal.
Yeah.
He's right about Supreme Court. I mean, it takes you out of the realm of policy and puts you in a different environment that he may not get he may not find intellectually challenging, I guess you should say. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right, Steve. Steve Jordahl with us. I'm Tim with Fred. We've got about 5 minutes left here on today's program. What do you got left, Steve?
I was going to ask.
Stack of stuff over there.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this before we went on the air. What would happen if they all of a sudden found that the 2020 election actually wasn't on the up and up, like has become the accepted narrative about that? The FBI took a visit. They went on a raid in Georgia. They went to the election office at the headquarters in Fulton County. This is kind of the hub of what the dispute was in 2020 over those ballots that Donald Trump wanted to find. And they are now pulling boxes out, and they are looking because they think that maybe there was some funny business going on in the 2020 election. I was just wondering if you guys had a thought on what would be the national discussion. How would it change if all of a sudden...
Okay, Fred and I may disagree on this a little bit. I think we've already talked about this. And you too, Steve. I think this is yesterday's news, and President Trump's FBI, everything's political now. People are just going to say, well, it's Trump's FBI who found the problem. So, but, you know, we're talking something 6 years ago. So I don't think most people care about this story. But, Fred, you say there may be a reason why it could matter.
Yeah, they grabbed a bunch of ballots from
who?
The FBI when they did that raid yesterday.
All right.
They apparently they left with some ballots from the 2020 election. Now, if they find evidence of, let's say they find 5 ballots with a dead person's name on all of them.
Yeah.
Or they
mean dead before they vote, dead before the election, not dead subsequent to.
Yeah, no, dead before the election. Yeah. If they find some ballots that look illegal, and they can prove that, what it could have is an impact on the claims by Democrats that, you know, Trump's claims of the election being stolen are not true. Because when this story broke yesterday about the FBI raid, that was the context of the Associated Press story, is that this is just President Trump just trying to get back at people. He has really nothing to base his claims on that the election was stolen. So that was the frame. So the FBI, Kash Patel, the FBI director, they are going to examine these ballots. If they're able to come up with some proof that at least some of the ballots should not have been counted, maybe that has an impact on claims, even that we're hearing in advance of this midterm election, that there are still locations that may not be totally honest in their ballot counting.
Yeah. I think we got all that worked out because President Trump won overwhelmingly in 2024.
Certainly did. Mm-hmm.
And the Republicans gained seats everywhere in the House and the Senate, so I don't think the cheating is there anymore. Like some suspect that it was in 2020 is what I'm saying.
It puts a whole lot of history in a whole different context in my mind. If Trump may have actually won the 2020 election, all of a sudden you can, not that I'm excusing January 6th, but you can understand people coming and saying, wait, stop, don't do this until we figure this out.
But you would have needed more than Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He lost by more than just Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
but they've been looking in Pennsylvania. They've been looking in other states too.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Fred.
Good to be here.
Thanks to Alex McFarland, Chris Woodward, Brent Creeley, our producer, Cole Green, our videographer. Is that what he is, Brent? Videographer? All right. So have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.